Testing, testing. Just going to fix a couple of things and then maybe we can all start. Welcome to Project Entropy, podcast number one. I've been a bit, free for the rest of the, per se, lockdown quarantine of the community. I've taken a stroll earlier and I've literally seen no one around. So, so earlier I've taken a walk down in Garden Villas and tried to see if anyone's around or trying to do something at the current moment. So far there has been trucks going around and then saying things regarding the outbreak. It's raining a bit than the usual, and I'm not sure what's going to be the weather for the rest of the week. So I decided to do a podcast live every 3 p.m. GMT plus 8. So far it's going great. This is not the first time I've streamed, but so far it's very pretty late. I've trying to monitor the happenings regarding COVID-19 for quite a while now. So recently, a lot of you guys know that Philippines had just went over a three-digit lockdown. I'm not sure well regarding the current number amount, but I'm pretty sure it's going a bit up on the 104, 145. That's the last time that I've looked for it. Recently there has been a group of people wearing CBRN suits. I'm not sure if they have SCBA on them, but they've been cleaning the streets earlier. Basically have these backpacks with fog machines inside, which basically disinfects the area around. I haven't seen groups of them though. I'm not sure regarding the amount of people that's. So yeah, right now there's a truck outside speaking on the speaker regarding the current events of COVID-19, saying everyone to stay on their homes and basically just try not to contract the virus by itself. So recently there has been rumors of additional people that has been taken into isolation after the recent event here in Garden Villas. I think there are around four confirmed people that has the coronavirus inside them as of this current moment. I'm not sure really. It's quite a while. So I've been viewing a couple of things over, and now currently I'm staying at my parents' house, trying to pass the time. The dorms are a bit fuzzy in the current moment. There has been a couple of people that's trying to panic buy. Yeah, there's a lot of people that has been panic buying in regards of COVID-19. I'm not sure regarding current happenings, but classes are cancelled indefinitely. Yeah, a lot of people are pretty much on the edge right now and not sure what's going to happen next. Uh, yeah, that's gonna bring a couple of things around. So recently, I have been going back to work in terms of SFM and all of that. I actually did a couple of renders of SFM uh, when back on my Facebook account. Yeah, I've shown a couple of renders. I'm gonna show it right now. Hold on. Yeah, there's nothing much happening. There's nothing interesting in terms. Not sure regarding what's going to happen next, but you know, really puts up a block in your mind. So I've been doing a couple of SFM works back then. Hold on, let me just resize this picture. So yeah, I've been trying 4K renders recently, but I'm not sure. Not sure regarding how I'm going to do that. Last time I tried a full render, it didn't happen. That it didn't go up to the quality that I wanted it to be. So I've been doing a couple of commissions for Atlee, one of the owners of Willard Networks, and yeah. So recently, I've also been working on a standalone game regarding Half-Life. This is not in celebration of the Half-Life Alyx release, but rather in celebration of trying to go into a new engine. So we all know that Half-Life Alyx pretty much is releasing in a couple of days now. Around the yeah, I think it's releasing that. No, Doom Eternal is releasing this week on Saturday, approximately. For most people, it will be Friday, March 20. For me, it's most likely going to be released by March 21. Yeah. So basically, not a lot of things are actually happening. Last time I went outside, I just bought a cup of coffee. Yeah, it turns I like coffee for what's at the time. I took a couple of cups and just down here sipping some of my chocolate down here. So yeah, I've been trying a couple of things to do. Recently, I've been playing a couple of Rainbow Six Siege. You haven't really gotten into it. there's nothing much to do in it other than the new Void Edge operation. It's not that much of a lackluster for me, but every time I try to play the game, I don't know, I'm just a bit off the edge. It's not that. Well, I might offend a couple of people, but it's not that of my type. I like playing tactical games, but no, it's not really that much of a thing for me. I like playing games like Arma 3 or recently SWAT 4 actually. I'm not sure regarding the new Ready or Not because the last time I saw the gameplay that they had up under I think it was the PAX East. I, I'm not sure, but they had this convention where they went along and played a couple of matches with the people that attended their booth, and yeah, I'm not sure. It's more on par with Insurgency Sandstorm as of this current moment, and that's not really my type. I like Insurgency Sandstorm, but it's not really uh, you know, slow paced like how I like playing tactical games. Arma 3 is slow paced, but that isn't really what I am going for or rooting for most of the time. Uh, yeah, it's 21 degrees inside. It's around a couple of degrees up to like 22, 23 degrees outside. It's really cold, actually. So right now I'm just trying to chill around in the house and trying to do some things that might actually be worth a while. Yeah, so recently I have been taking a break from Half-Life 2 RP, but after a couple of news that I've received regarding the current state, I've decided to come back into it basically. So I think Kurzale is making Half-Life 2 Clockwork the schema free for pretty much everyone, and then he's releasing a couple of beta unreleased things that might actually come useful for people that's trying to make up for a new game mode, basically, essentially. So yeah, no, what happened to this? Immediately went down in 0 kilobytes per second. I was a bit. Yeah. So recently I've been walking around trying to think of what to do. I've decided immediately that hey, maybe I'll do a podcast maybe, and then try to get a couple of people up and join me around. So I did just that. So I'm going to probably play a couple of music tunes for you guys to jam on in. For sure, YouTube will cut me off from this. Mm, let me check on that. So yeah. So recently I've been walking through the stores and I've noticed quite a lot of people has been buying alcohol. Like I recently went to the local 7-Eleven store and I found out that they no longer have alcohol and everyone has been buying it out. It's not great. It's not great at all. Like
So
when you walk into the
recently
store,
I've been walking through the
I know
stores.
I do. I left it open. So you walk into the store, okay? So you're hoping you could probably buy a cup of alcohol and chill around. Maybe protect yourself from the virus and wipe all of those germs away from your hands. You know what happens next is when you go into the store, you realize, oh no, they didn't, they don't have alcohol anymore. Yeah, it's bad. It's the worst thing you could ever think of, especially with during the times like this. Basically, it's starting to look like an actual epidemic where everyone is just going haywire over the fact that things are going not not good at all. I might actually try to I might actually try to stream a couple of games over. Maybe that would work. I'm not that sure. So I've been thinking of actually going back to play Cry of Fear because I haven't played that for a long time. Last time I played it was around 2018, 2017, back when I was still live streaming SFM on my reader. There's really nothing else to actually do. It's a bit disconcerting since the fact that you go out there, okay? Think of it, you go out there and there's literally no one around. You look at the stores, either they are closed or when you call for someone, no one's going to assist you. That's how it's basically playing out nowadays. You go out there outside, you try to do something, you won't be able to. Because sooner or later, the whole town will be on lockdown, and there's literally nowhere to go. There's nowhere else to do. There's nothing else to do. So if you basically just take a stroll, you know, probably take your morning jog, it's alright. I notice you might actually catch the virus, especially at my current location where there has been rumors of a confirmed COVID-19 victim. I think Garden Villas is currently ground zero for Santa Rosa states where there's people around that had contracted the virus recently. I'm not entirely sure. It is possible, but I doubt it would even be true. Yeah, I give something for the heart. So basically, I just uh I'm waiting for summer to say that classes are back on, and yeah, I actually feel sad for graduating students, as if you if you take a look at them, they're graduating this year. Look at the date. It's March. It's the middle of March, and you suddenly realize I wouldn't be able to attend their graduation because public gatherings are basically off 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 the cliff. public graduations are pretty much cancelled because they are considered as public gatherings and there's nothing else you can do. So there's nothing else left to do. Same for people that's going to go into recognition, especially for high school students and elementary and probably nursery. Preparatory is kind of the usual grade to pretty much go on graduations. Like I went through preparatory. I should be higher, 1 year higher than my current grading. That's when I first graduated. I didn't technically graduate when I was in kindergarten because I chose not to skip towards grade one, basically. So, moving up students are pretty much on a chokehold right now because they wouldn't be able to, attend their graduation. Although they are technically on record already graduated, they won't be able to come along because, you know, there is no ceremonies that's going to happen. I think SM is pretty much a ghost town right now. Yeah, I like to hold on. 40,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town. I'm not really great at that accent, I guess. In terms of speaking of modern warfare, I haven't taken a glimpse at the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare that was released last year. I haven't actually tried it, but I heard that they are releasing a battle royale for free. You know, Activision's just gotta do everything that they want just to get that money off of you, just to have that microtransaction going on. Frankly, I don't really care that much, but since they want to do themselves, then alright, go do themselves. Plus, I'm not buying anything from Activision. Um, I think there's this one game that was going. Oh yeah, Destiny 2. Speaking of Destiny 2, I recently downloaded it, and yeah, the size itself is quite enormous. That it actually run through all of my remaining space in my hard drive. Like I had 150 gigabytes of space left. In context, that's pretty much the required space in order to play Call of Duty Warzone. But I didn't choose to play Warzone. It's a bit off the edge. Although my computer can certainly handle it, it's not regarding the performance. It's more on the space remaining, the space left. Here we go. Speaking of Frank Sinatra, I actually like this song. This is one of the first songs that I've heard from him. It's not. It's quite nice. You know. People say you're riding high in April. Anyways, recently, a couple of you know that I've first close friends of me know that I've been making a short film for classes the past few weeks. So basically, I took a break from month of February to give time to this movie, and that's actually one of the greatest ideas that I've ever implemented in my whole life ever. This this isn't my first short film, alright? This isn't my very first short film that I've made for an indie group. But the thing is, it took so much time to produce it that we went over the maximum time. Like it was only supposed to be 15 minutes. We did the movie for 3 weeks. We shot it in 3 weeks. Okay, and during those 3 weeks, there were a lot of roadblocks. Like some of the actors weren't even able to come along to the movie, and they didn't. essentially they didn't get to play the role. So I had to switch over the characters because some people weren't able to do what they are tasked to do, and some of them don't even know how to act properly. Well, they know how to act, but there isn't that specific uh role that I want them to go through. So it's kind of a hard thing to go. So it's a hard thing to in terms of fix and repair. Because there's nothing to fix and repair if the problem itself is the person trying to fulfill that role. So I just pretty much gave up on movie making. That then we ended up being able to pass it over, and yeah. The roadblock when making the movie pretty much is the script. So if you think of it, like they are grading how much you followed through the script. And so a lot of us want to do ad libs instead because it gives you a natural feel. And then they picked me as the writer. So I wrote the whole script and I tried to make it as close to natural as possible. And you know me, I'm not that type of guy that would want to bring up a movie and then just speak up and then try to ad lib it because that would go against the script and you might say something that would end up pretty much destroying the whole movie. Even though it looks nice, it sounds nice in context, it's not going to work. It's pretty much what happened to us. So you basically have to be ready for everything that's going to be a roadblock because otherwise you won't be able to continue making the movie. So during the shooting of the movie, we were on the final stages of making it. So basically we had this prop. So we were doing some sort of a Detroit Become Human type of movie where the main character is an android. I don't know what just happened, but the internet came back on, so I guess we're good to go. So we're back on track. So basically, we were doing this Detroit Become Human type of movie where the main character is an android and all that. Let her stick this up on her forehead and then move on, basically. So after that, we gave her the go-to. So so she can act like this android. Oh, it's gone off. Oh no, we lost that one concurrent viewer. So we were going on into the movie basically, and then on the end of it, we had this one prop that was all around her. So that prop was the LED. Okay, so it was string based. So basically, uh, it had this long string that was going all around her. And then the power cell was pretty much placed on the back of her head. No, on her back precisely. So we place it on her back, and then we would switch it on or off around, depending on whether or not we want it on strobe mode or not. So we basically continued on with that prospect in mind. So in the middle of the shooting, like when we were going on to the best parts, the uh, the cord was just being connected. So the cord that was basically all around, like which connects it to the power cell. So so the power cell that was connected into it pretty much broke out. So we had to deal with a broken wire the whole movie. That's basically it. We had to do a broken wire. So we don't know what to do. We had to so we basically had to go over this small roadblock of basically using a broken wire. It doesn't concretely go with a lot of them, and we couldn't fix the broken wire. At the moment, we don't know basic electrical engineering, so we had this small problem where we had to think fast because we had to shoot it, and the movie was going to be past a couple of minute days after that. And so we basically manipulated the plot to how we wanted to be. So we reprinted the whole plot and then passed another, so we used that modified one. Basically, we essentially added a scene where the main character removed the LED. So we're basically going off the straight plot where Detroit Become Human came into. And so we used that basically as a line to progress through and continue with what we're making. So whilst making the movie, we were given a probability to either choose. So we rolled, and then we got drama as one of our. That's the main prospect of what we're going to do. So basically, drama was our pick, and we made a movie out of it. So we had to redo the whole script because of one prop failure, which is kind of a pain in the ass if you think about it. So we continued on, and then yeah, we basically based it off that plot. Yeah, it's finished now, and we able to pass it. Although we didn't get to pass it actually on the 15-minute mark because I edited it in just the course of a day. So I started editing around 2 p.m. and then I ended up sleeping around 3 a.m. actually. So my classes were 5 a.m. So you know how that went. I was sleepless that day. You know, I had to take a rest. So pretty much all the classes every day is half of the day. So basically, when you come to school at 5 o'clock in the morning, you come home at around 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I took it. I took the opportunity to sleep from 2 p.m. down towards around 7 to 8 p.m. And that didn't go well because I wasn't able to sleep properly during that time. But you know, it was worth it. It was worth it. I'll like to tell you, it was worth it. So basically, yeah, that all went haywire in the end because the final product wasn't up to the quality that I decided it should be up to. But I guess that's over now since pretty much there's nothing else to do. So, so this is basically one of the music that they've used on the trailer. This is one of the music they used on the trailer for Death Stranding, basically. Yeah, music from Death Stranding. That's something I couldn't. So we basically there's a whole backstory on why I like this music, basically. So back then when I was a bit younger than me, we were making a movie. Like we had a full kit, and we didn't have to follow a script, so we basically had to make a story on on the green. And so that's where we pretty much excel at, making a story out of the air and not pulling something off a script like what we usually do. So we went along and used it. So during that time, that Stranding, the official trailer where Norman Reedus was at the beach carrying a fetus. That was the first trailer where it had this music, and I liked it. So I decided to basically imprint that overlay, that feel of that Stranding onto the movie. And so I actually liked the final product. It was a bit off the edge. Still, it's rough. It's not that great, but the execution was smooth. It was my first time trying to actually edit a movie like that. So basically, the whole theme of the Death Stranding like film that I made is this. This was the theme song, and I was stuck into it. And every time I look at something a little bit blue and then gooey on the side, like per se, every time I play Half-Life 2 RP, alright, back then in summer vacation, I always played it. And then there were times where you just have to be a little bit depressed. You have it reflect on your actual character, so it's a bit natural. You have to act over it, and it actually works, especially with this music, because Half-Life 2 is convoluted in its own story is all messed up because every single community uses their own fracture of the story. They don't follow the actual Half-Life 2 canon because no one likes to follow that. Sorry about that. No one like to follow the Half-Life 2 story because it's not up to par with what they usually do, with what the fandom wants them to do. So they basically come up with different stories every time they want to do a server to keep players coming over and trying to play over. So that's what they did. Make stories that is up on par with what's actually written on the books, what's written on the game, and all that. So every time you think of that, you just start thinking, maybe this story will actually work on the real world. Especially when you think of that, when you think of the possibility of it actually happening, it just makes it natural to you to act that way. Which basically makes this a small spark of actually playing half of 2RP to its end. Because it's great. It gives a player a much greater possibility to play a specific character, not just go on their way of being, oh hey, you're a blue suit citizen, you're just going to do this stuff, that stuff. It just goes all over that way. Oh yeah, it's actually pretty great to have this music pretty much make a whole chapter of some of my career that leads to me actually doing SFM. Speaking of SFM, it's been quite a long while since I've made something that I've been posting on my DeviantArt. I've been trying to not go onto the board with SFM recently because it's getting hard to choose whether or not you're going to continue with SFM since Source 2 is coming out. And I've tried a couple of things from Source 2. I've even installed the off-branch Source 2 SFM that they have pre-release of Half-Life Alyx, and that's basically what I'm trying to go for as of this current moment. That's what I wanted to learn, with especially with Source 2, you're getting better effects and graphical improvements rather than what Source had to give during the early days of early 2000s and all that. So I went over and I decided to give Source 2 SFM a try, and it doesn't really go that way. Then It didn't end well, specifically. So we're reaching the 45-minute mark, so I guess we'll be ending it up early. Is for the first episode of the podcast. I might actually just invite someone for the podcast to come along and talk about, I don't know, Half-Life 2 RP and basically modify Half-Life 2 modification community on its own. Actually, recently, speaking of Half-Life 2 modifications, Project Borealis had been, Project Borealis posted a small update video regarding, wind drag, how physics is going to work. It's actually, it's actually pretty great. Speaking of the fact that, you know, Project Borealis has been on the hidden making for quite a long while. It's surprising to see them actually doing something that's giving a community a sense of, oh hey, they are not dead. This is something that they're doing out, and it's pretty surprising to see that it's actually pretty great. Like, when I was watching what they were doing, I thought that, wow, this is what Valve wanted Half-Life to be. This is what Valve wanted to give a source of something new, a new improved engine where people can actually try to play. So basically, what Project Borealis is doing at this current moment is just improve upon the engine of how Half-Life 2 physics wanted to play as, and not what Half-Life 2 physics should be. So basically, that's what they wanted to do, and that's what they're aiming for. It's something that's, I don't know. I don't. I just don't think that physics is supposed to be that one thing that would be making Half-Life an actual Half-Life game. Half-Life 1 introduced better graphics, graphical improvements. Half-Life 2 introduced physics, and Half-Life Alyx will be introducing Half-Life into the VR, into the virtual reality world. Speaking of Half-Life Alyx, I still haven't gotten my VR headset. Um, Last time I heard, Half-Life Alyx was supposed to be on a 12 gigabyte RAM minimum. And I don't know. I don't know if I would be able to afford a 12 gigabyte RAM stick. I'm currently on a 8 gigabyte RAM setup, and that's basically something that I wouldn't myself be able to buy. And that's, yeah. That's the maximum that my PC can go, basically. So recently in Half-Life Alyx, they're just going to allow any Steam VR headset compatible into the game. I'm trying to get myself an HMD Odyssey. Because as of this moment, it's the cheapest product you can get. I think at around $200 at best. So I picked it up and converted into Philippine pesos, and I got 20,000 pesos actually, and it's nice to have that sort of amount given up instead of actually having like around 30,000, which is the amount that you have to save up for a Valve Index actually. And yeah, that's basically all I have to say for now. We've already reached the 45-minute mark, and maybe tomorrow I'll be able to stream a couple of games. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow wouldn't be a podcast episode, or maybe tomorrow I'll mix it with a podcast and a gaming stream, basically. I still don't know what to stream what game to stream, basically. But, you know. So, thank you for coming along on Project Entropy podcast number 1. This is the very first, in terms pilot episode of my podcast where you're free to hear me babbling over things that you know some people wouldn't be able to understand because of my accent. So thank you for coming along. Make sure to stand a little bit near to my Deviant art because I'll be releasing a couple of SFN pictures that you may be able to use as wallpaper or anything. I don't know. So yeah, I'm still waiting for Source 2, and that's maybe one of the things I'll be spending the rest of my vacation on. So feel free to come along tomorrow, and I don't know. Maybe I'll invite you over to stream podcast with me. I don't know. So yeah, thanks for coming along, and I'll see you all tomorrow.